In our third week, Christian ends up at the gate, the sheep gate or the wicket gate. And Christian enters the gate and he meets a man by the name of Goodwill. And they recap his story of what's happened up to this point. And this happens a number of times throughout the book in one form or another. And Christian is shown the way to go. And this is what is said. But, said Christian, are there no turnings or windings by which a stranger might lose his way? He looks out at the path and it's straight and it's narrow. And so he asks this question, does it turn? Can't somebody lose his way? And listen closely to what Goodwill says. He says, yes, there are many other ways, but they are all crooked and wide. That is how you can distinguish the right way from the wrong way. The right way is always straight and narrow. Now think about that in terms of our times. Everyone would say, yes, there's many other ways, but they would say, and just pick one. Go the way you want. But this man says, no, all the other ways are crooked and wide. There are lots of other ways, but there's a way to tell the good one from the bad one, the right one from the wrong one. And it's the right one is straight and narrow. And that's what Jesus speaks about in his word. After this point, he comes to Interpreter's house, and he sees 7 sights. And I don't want to talk about them long. I just want to land on each of them. And one is a picture of what someone looks like who leads in the way that we should go, so we can avoid those who will lead us astray. I encourage you to consider that short little section in the book. It's an interesting statement. It's an interesting illustration for us. There's also a room that illustrates how law cannot save us, only point to our sin. There's a story as well in the picture in there of 2 children, Passion and Patience. Passion wanted all things now and settled for less, but he got it now, and it all faded away. Patience, however, was willing to wait for what God offered in eternity, that which will never fade away. Are we ever like that? There's the fourth one, the fireplace. And you have the fires of grace that burn higher and hotter, even though Satan pours water on them. And the reason it keeps burning is because Jesus is pouring the oil of his grace on it, and the fire can't be extinguished. And then there's the gate into the palace of glory. That one, the one that you had to fight really hard to get through. No stepping back in fear. And then there's the man in the cage who had gone beyond the point of repentance. And finally, there was the man who dreamt of judgment. There is much we need to keep in mind throughout the Christian life. And some of these things help to keep us on the straight and narrow, and some of them help to remind us of grace. I encourage you to keep these things in your mind as you seek the Lord. I wanted to give you some talking points this week as well, and here they are. The first one is this. Isn't it interesting that as Christian goes to enter the gate, that Beelzebub shoots arrows at the people coming through? He does not want anyone saved. Here's another talking point, something to think about. Consider the man that was in the cage. That's perhaps the most troubling of the things Interpreter shows Christian. At least for me it was. Think about his answer to this question that Christian asked. Christian asks him, who did you used to be? Take a good look at the answer that the man gives. And finally, what do you think about Christian's rush to get back on the way? He mentions it 2 or 3 times in this short little section. What do you think? Why is it that he's in such a rush? Why is it that he's so excited about moving on? Once again, I just encourage you to be challenged by this. Allow God to speak to you through these pages as you continue on and to be encouraged in your journey in seeking the Lord.